Welcome to Spin Justice with me, Hayley Owens, the podcast where I'll be talking about anything from health and fitness to the injustices of the world and everything in between. I've worked within the criminal justice system for over 20 years and have more recently taken to teaching indoor cycling, otherwise known as spin. Each week I'll be talking to a different guest about a topic that's personal to them, whether it be to raise awareness or just because. Most episodes will contain strong language because of who I am as a person, so if that's not for you, then probably best to swerve. Any opinions expressed by me are my own. Welcome, Melanie Shah, bare-knuckle boxer.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, and thank you. I'm really intrigued by you. I've purposely not done too much research into it because I want an authentic reaction from myself. So I know, we've been following and chatting on social media, so I know about you, but there's some bits that I want to talk to you about that I genuinely don't know, and I want this to be the first reaction from me. So a first question I've got is, why bare knuckle boxing?
Okay. It's probably because it's the most real of
Yeah.
all combat sports. It's probably the most that everyone understands what it is. You don't need special training, and you don't need special equipment. You don't need gloves. You don't need anything. And it's probably the most likely that people have come across in some form, whatever level. Because there's nothing to it really. It's just your bare fists. So everyone's probably had some kind of contact with it, whether they've seen it or they've done it or felt it or
Yeah.
so it just seems more like one that everyone can understand, and it's the most real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that answer because that's what I'm about, the realness of life. How long have you been doing it?
So I've only been doing professionally for about the last 3 years, something like that. 3 years, and then there was just a little bit of time in my late teenage years where I was just doing a bit of crazy stuff, but nothing professional and nothing with any training or any there was no preparation behind it. It was just kind of
Yeah.
a bit of an adrenaline rush
Yeah.
kind of thing.
How old are you now?
So I'm 43 now. I'll be 44 at the end of the year.
Okay, so sort of when you turned 40-ish, that's when you
Yeah,
started doing it more
life begins
professionally.
at 40.
Yeah, well, I'm 40. I'm 40 in how many weeks is it now? It's about 3 months
Okay.
till I'm 40. And I definitely feel that.
Yeah.
I feel like my life's just beginning. So I completely get that side of it. I'm not going to start bare knuckle boxing.
No, but you're doing this.
But I'm
So,
doing this, yeah. So yeah, it's to me. I mean, everyone. We might as well talk about it straight away. Must have seen the picture of you.
I think everyone.
And we'll insert it into this
Yeah.
into the podcast if you don't mind, because it's on your Instagram page.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, look, I can't hide from it. Some people might think that there's something bad from it, but that's because they don't understand it, and
Yeah.
they don't understand the situation and the choices, and it's I've seen much worse on the internet.
Yeah.
People are having their choices in the matter, so I really don't think everyone would be judging that.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And I mean, you had quite significant facial injuries, didn't you, in that?
It was, but if you saw me literally like a week later, you would think this girl doesn't do this because there was nothing there.
Really? Is that how quick it healed?
Really quick. I mean, it is just surface.
No way. So with that one then, because your eye was quite badly swollen. Is that the one that
No, I think you might be thinking of my first fight
Oh.
because that was the hematoma.
Oh,
I got a
okay.
hematoma, so I got that. There was just wasn't even from the punches. There was a lot of head clashes in that fight because we were clinching up a lot. So I kept getting my head bashed on the corner of her face, and it just swelled up over the fight. But then that was probably my longest healing time because the swelling had to come down, and it took about 2 weeks for it to fully go. But again, it was like
That's nothing really, is it? 2 weeks?
no, it was really nothing. And I went straight away to the hospital after that fight, and they sent me on my way like within 10 minutes because like they were like, we can't do anything. There's nothing wrong with you. Just let the swelling go down. So that's the thing about bare knuckle boxing is it looks really bad, but it heals really quick, and it's not. I've never needed to go to hospital for anything longer than like 10 minutes just to be checked and then sent on my way. So
Does it hurt?
no.
Really?
No. After the first punch, your adrenaline's through the roof, and I don't feel anything.
So I remember speaking to Jess Barry, a professional boxer,
Yeah.
and she, I mean, she's won a few titles since Carl, hasn't she? If you've
Yeah, I think she won
noticed.
one recent.
Yeah, last week. She's absolutely flying.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic girl. But she was saying that because a lot of the time she has to spar with the men
Yeah.
and things, and she said sometimes it can, you feel sore
Mm-hmm.
and you're tired and it hurts and stuff. And that was her reflection of it.
Yeah.
So because it's obviously not just in the ring on that day, is it? You've got to do sparring and a lead up.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of sparring, and I only spar men as well.
Really?
Yeah. It's for me, it takes away the fear factor of facing someone, because I'm always facing men who are bigger and stronger than me, and who could literally take my head off. And and so having that fear by facing them, I don't fear anyone else.
Do the men that you spar, do you think that they hold back a bit because you're a woman?
No.
No.
I think if I was a woman just coming in from nowhere, but because I'm a pro bare
Yeah.
knuckle fighter, so they know I'm tough.
Mm.
I've had my teeth knocked out. Like, they're not looking at me and going, because I've had it where guys have tried to go a bit lighter on me, and then I've done something that's peed them off, and then they've wanted to get back in the ring.
Yeah.
So 9 times out of 10, no one takes it easy on me, because they don't want to get schooled by me.
Yeah.
So they want to school me. They don't want to look like it's an ego thing.
Yes.
Unfortunately, even though you'd like to think people leave it at the door, they don't. No one wants to be schooled in the ring, and there's no one that's gonna go in with you sparring and go, I'm gonna go easy on her, and then but I'm gonna go full on them. So they're gonna come back for me the same way. So
Yeah.
you know.
I just could not.
But I just wanted to just raise something, and no offense to anyone that does glove boxing, but this is why I'll always say bare knuckle boxing is better than gloved.
It tasted funny when I picked it up.
Make sure you leave that in. Leave that in.
It was tasting funny in my mouth.
If you leave that in, nothing I do now will be bad.
It was the little milk.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But no, it's right. Sorry. Nothing against people with glove
Nothing
boxing.
with like, because obviously like everyone will see it their own way. But what you were saying about her feeling sore after sparring, I will agree. The only time I feel sore is when I spar with gloves,
Really?
because when you're hit with gloves, it rattles your brain, and that's where the people that die in the ring, they die from glove boxing. I mean, there was an Irish boxer only about a month ago, and he collapsed after his boxing match, and he died, but from brain damage.
Yeah.
Now that happens all the time in boxing, because it's the damage to your brain that's the problem. It's not getting surface cuts and a bit of like, swelling and stuff here or there. It's all on the surface. It's all this top layer.
Yeah.
And that heals really fast. Everything internal you can't see is where you're getting damaged worse in glove boxing. That's why there's so many people that have got long-term conditions later on after they finish boxing, or they keel over in the ring. There was a Richard Pritchard, that boxer, he got hit in the back of the head, and he's been, unfortunately, like, he's got brain damage and he's never recovered.
Yeah.
You don't get that from bare knuckle boxing.
Do you know when you said about having your teeth knocked out? How many teeth were knocked out?
So what happened was, because I had some crooked teeth at the bottom, what happened, it was a bit of a chisel effect. So the one tooth that was crooked, like, chiseled the other one. So it kind of like one came out, but chiseled the other one.
Right.
So I lost 1.5, but I had to have that half out.
Yeah.
Because it couldn't survive like that.
And was that fairly quick to fix?
Yeah, it was like, I mean, again, it was like a couple of months, like, to fix, and then just let it set, but it healed all perfectly. But again, like, I always have to say, and I always have to say this about that fight, is I'd only fought 4 weeks before.
Oh.
So every bit of damage you see on that viral picture is 2 lots of bare knuckle fighting. It's not one fight I did 2, because even though the cuts are sealed up, no stitching is done in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
You need at least about 8 to 12 weeks for it to seal. So everything just opened back up.
Did that not put you off fighting again? Because it wasn't...
No, because that was the thing. It was an opportunity to fight for the belt, and because I'd done a contender fight, and I know what politics go on in all the combat sports. If I hadn't have taken the opportunity then, I wouldn't have got it again. So it was kind
Yeah.
of like you either step into the ring with the number one for the belt,
Yeah.
or someone else takes that opportunity, and you probably won't get that opportunity again.
Yeah.
It was the luck of the draw to get the contender fight, and because I won the contender fight, I thought I'm going for it all the way. But I had no time to prepare for her because obviously I was healing up from my last fight,
Mm.
and I had to fight the number one, which is a completely different ball game than the person I just fought. So I couldn't prepare for her. I hadn't healed up to the point where things wouldn't freshly open again.
Yeah.
And then on that fight, I'd taken a couple of elbows to that area where I lost my tooth.
Right.
So my gums were probably soft.
Yeah.
So, like when I spoke to the dentist about it, he said you would have needed like 12 weeks for your gums to set because your teeth were probably loose.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
didn't knock them out. She just, the two of them knocked my teeth out.
Yeah.
She started it, she finished it. So,
Yeah.
a lot of people look at that fight and go, you absolutely were like kind of ripped apart in that fight. But that was two lots of fights back to back.
Yeah.
She never did that. She's the number one. She had like 4 months to prepare for me. So
Who's that?
Britain Hart, who was the belt holder, who is still the belt holder.
Yeah.
She's the number one.
So Carla Jade, is it Carla?
That's Misfits, yeah.
Yeah. So is there a bit of beef there?
Yeah, well, the beef started because originally we were on friendly terms because she started doing, she was my ring girl in my first bare-knuckle fight that I did in the UK, and we got on friendly terms. And then she started doing Misfits boxing, and then I got an opportunity to fight Misfits with her. And we approached it first, well, we're mates and we're fine, we're chilled with each other. And then she started putting stuff out on social media, just like disrespectful, like, you know, I'm going to smoke her, I'm going to run through her. Now, you don't talk about someone who you've got friendly,
Respect
respect for,
Yeah.
and who's a bare knuckle boxer. When you're doing Misfits boxing, you don't turn around and go, like as if I'm nothing. I'm not a valued opponent to you. And then I had to miss like a face-to-face like a Zoom interview that because obviously I've got kids and they're my priority no matter what. So I'd explained that I couldn't do the interview, and I apologized to the interviewer. And then she started putting stuff out on social media saying that I don't respect the promotion, and I just thought I was approaching this as a mate, and you're being really disrespectful, and you're trying to make me look bad. So I thought, well, I can't really look at you the same way. So, I did my own little podcast interview, and I just said, look, I'm going to finish her. And then by the time we got to the press conference, I was just so angry at how two-faced she'd been. I just started to just say what I thought, and then she didn't like it, and then she got really just babyish and catty and just silly about stuff, and that's why she's got slapped.
Right.
But I was never approaching to do it that way, but like there was loads of things said, and she was doing loads of things, and then that's what happened.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And then you saw what happened in the fight.
Yeah.
So it got scored the way it got scored, but that's politics again.
Yeah, there's so much politics that got in everything.
Yeah,
isn't there?
But in the sport of influencer boxing, someone like me and someone like her, they're going to prefer to have her winning and having the belt than me, because I'm not that kind of look.
Yeah, you're not that fighter.
I'm not that kind of I don't do the posing in my bikini holding the belt. I won't do that kind of stuff. And, no, I have no problem for people doing that.
Yeah.
But that's the reason in influencer boxers why those people maybe get things going their way more than someone like me. I'm just here to fight, and that's it.
Yeah, and this is it. This comes down to the whole injustice of it, in my opinion, because, like you say, the politics that sit behind. everything, all sports, all jobs, all everything. I think there's always some sort of politics or restrictions or
Yeah.
some bullshit that sits in the background that prevents the fairness.
I think I'm not like a feminist or anything like that, because a lot of that kind of stuff I don't agree with. But I definitely think in sports, for combat sports, there's a real injustice for women, because guys can just go in, look rough, look mean, fight, come out with teeth missing, looking messed up, and win or lose, they're good. Women have to come in, they have to be a warrior, a tough person, a good sport, good this, and then they've got to still look pretty.
Yeah.
They've got to look pretty before the fight, in the fight, and after the fight. And, no one gets supported if you don't fit that.
And you know what? That is so true. And I just think society in general.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I teach spin. Yeah. So I teach
Yeah.
indoor cycling. Now, I ain't putting a full face on to
Yeah.
get on the bike. Do you know what I mean? It ain't happening because I sweat that much
Yeah.
that it would be pointless. I'm dripping wet within about 10 minutes. And also, I can't be arsed.
No.
I'm the same as you. I've got 2 kids. I know you've got 3. We'll come on to that in a minute. But like, my priority is being a mum.
Yeah.
And making sure that they've got everything they need and my house is running like clockwork. Because I get stressed if that stuff falls behind. So it's all right having a day job, which I need, obviously, to pay the mortgage, teaching the spin, which is my sideline, which is my main passion, if I'm honest, and doing the podcast, which, again, is a big passion of mine. But if my house and that starts falling behind, I start to get really stressed because that's my number one. So I'm going to start streaming my spin classes because so many people say to me, I live too far away to come to the classes and I've got a bike at home, or I'd want to take part in the gym when there's no classes available so I could put it on my phone. And you know what? For probably over 12 months, people have been saying this to me, and I've said, I am going to do it. And I think I'm going to start it like this week, and I'm just going to go real basic with like a closed Facebook group and just do a live stream and then just charge a subscription, and then people can have the videos that way. Any ideas welcome. But it will be so real.
Yeah.
And it will literally be me with no makeup on, sweating my tits off, probably swearing. And it won't be your Peloton.
Yeah.
And you're edited and you're filtered. It will be raw and real. And that's just what I think is missing. Because like you said, these days, like posing with a belt with a bikini and all that, that's not real, is it? It's not real.
No.
And actually, when you look at these sort of like, I'm not slagging anyone, listen, everyone's entitled and good on them for doing whatever they want to do. I really genuinely believe that. But if you like took a selfie, if you ever took like a selfie, how long it takes to get a good picture.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd be there all day if I was trying to be what society wants.
One other thing is like, it's just not important to me. Like, I've got a husband and I've got kids. I said, so I don't really care if someone thinks I'm pretty, if someone doesn't think I'm pretty. I'm only here fighting. That's the only thing I care about. And I've said the only thing I care about is, you say, it was an entertaining fight, good fight. Win or lose, I was entertained, because they're the things that I think that would bother me as a fighter. Is if someone turned around and said, oh, it was a boring fight. Win or lose, boring fight.
Yeah.
So I only care about that kind of stuff. I don't care about, who looks prettier, who turns up to weigh-ins in and it's just like that can't be what's important. That can't be what it's about, because
it's not real life.
It's not real, I like. There's quite a few OnlyFans girls that follow me, support me, and I follow them back, and I really love them because they've been so supportive of me, especially during this time, with all this stuff going on with the Misfits fight. And I have no problem with anyone that whatever they choose to, how they make their money and how they make their business grow and everything. But with obviously what happened with me, I can call it what it was because she does that and I don't.
Yeah.
So she got to keep the belt and I didn't get
my
win.
Yeah.
So I'm having to to act like, like I've got to just wait for my rematch. And she's floating around with a belt, posing with it like she did something special on the night, but she didn't. It's because when she poses and she's in a bikini, all the comments, they're not saying you won your last fight. They're saying you look sexy.
Yeah, you look
So,
hot. Yeah.
So she's getting attention and like affirmation from like how she's looking, not from what she did.
Yeah.
Whereas I like to get it from what I do, not from what I look like.
Yes.
So like you can say that she's the pretty one and I'm not, but I won the fight. She didn't, so I don't really care.
Yeah, and
I'm in that game.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on this, because I think, just like what you were saying there about OnlyFans, and by the way, at this point, if you have got people following you, and people that you know that are doing OnlyFans, I've been trying to get an OnlyFans model on for ages. So if there's anyone watching, or you can hook me up with after, let me know, because I really want to do an episode on that, because like you, I'm not against anything.
Oh no,
Absolutely not. I'm thinking,
the one thing is the ones the girls that I've met, either met or I've just had contact with online, is they're actually really nice, genuine girls.
Of course they are,
and they get judged really badly for their choices. I mean, weirdly, Carla put stuff out about OnlyFans girls, which I find really kind of weird, because I see how she poses and what she gets up to. I don't like you making a judgment that yours is different than what they're doing, so you can judge them. So I find it really strange. Like I wouldn't judge anyone. As far as I'm concerned, I just come back with what happened in the fight. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, but each to their own in what they're doing, but just like I will call things out if that's part of the politics.
Yeah.
I do think it's part of the politics. It's like, and it happens in the bare-knuckle as well. There are girls there that do OnlyFans, and they get more opportunities.
Yeah.
And
because it sells.
And then don't get me wrong, they're good fighters. No, I'm never saying that these girls can't fight, but I'm saying they do get the better choices. And it might be because they've got more followers on Instagram because of the OnlyFans. And so, and sometimes it's just because they're more popular because of it with the fight fans, because unfortunately the fight fans, they want to see certain types of girls fighting.
Yeah.
And I'm only going to do a certain type of thing, which is fight.
Yeah.
And however I look is however I look. I'm not going to be something that I'm not.
Yeah, and I'm totally on that wavelength, and I think as well, like you said, and I always think like this in my head. I ain't got no one to impress, like you've just said. I've got a husband and I've got my children, I've got my family. So not about, I mean, I don't have a husband, but I've got my children, and I definitely I've got no one to impress. I've give up on. This is who I am.
Yeah.
Like it or lump it. So I really do think that that's such a good mindset to have, because it's a contentment. It comes from a place of being content.
That's it.
So let's talk about your home life a little bit, because I've met your husband.
Yeah.
And
he's lovely.
Yeah, lovely guy.
Yeah,
really easygoing.
One thing, like he's just lovely.
He's a lovely guy, yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you've got 3 children.
Yeah.
And you've got 2 older boys, and there's quite a big gap, isn't there, between your boys and your girl?
Yeah, it was a massive gap. Yeah, I mean, like, but weirdly, when I first got married, that's what I said I wanted. I said I wanted 2 older boys and a younger daughter.
Yeah. So how old's your oldest?
Eldest he'll be 18 this year.
18, and then the next one?
He'll be 16 in like 2 weeks.
And then your little girl's 5?
5, yeah.
So that is, huge gap. How did you feel? Well, first of all, how did you feel with such a big gap going back to being pregnant and having a baby? Because you're a bit older. I talked about it on a recent parenting episode. It's not come out yet, but I talked about. I don't think I'd cope very well. So I'm 40, 39. So that was probably roughly the age that you had your daughter at, 39.
Yeah.
38, 39.
Yeah.
So I feel like my body would be different, because I had my boys when I was like early 20s.
Well, there's 2 things there. One, I'm in the best shape I've ever been in.
Yeah.
Like, things I was doing back in the day to my body, I wouldn't even dream of doing now.
Yeah.
I've got so much better idea about what what I need to put in my body
Mm.
and what my body can do in terms of like physically, in terms of training. I wouldn't have even dreamt I could do half the things I could do. Back then, I used to think if I ran for 5 minutes, I'm doing a great job.
Yeah.
Like now, like that, I'd laugh at myself if I saw myself at the gym back in the day.
Mm.
Like I didn't think I could do half what I can do, and even with the fighting, I wouldn't have thought I could have done what I'm doing now back then. Um, and the same with the parenting. Um, the things that I didn't feel like I could cope with back then,
Yeah.
and it was a struggle.
Yeah.
But because I've seen how I've gone through it with my boys and all the stuff I had to go through with them, I'm much more confident in what I can do now because I've proved I can do it.
Yeah, because I feel like my patience and my confidence
Yeah.
in myself would be brilliant,
Yeah.
but I wonder how my body would cope. But having said that, like you,
Mm.
I'm in probably the best shape I've ever been in my
Yeah.
life. You know, I'm teaching on the bike every day. I put good things into my
Mhm.
body. You know, I don't abuse myself. I get lots of rest when I can. But I feel that actually, when you look at it that way, I probably would be fine.
I think, and this is what I think. People are starting. There's a bit of a movement going on online that I've seen that like there's a lot about longevity and about being fitter, older, and stuff like that. But I think what it comes down to is that we've been given too much of a pigeonhole kind of system where you're told you can do stuff up until maybe 40, especially women.
Yeah,
And then from then, you're in decline.
yeah,
Well, why? Because you said it. Why are you like? Who are you to say it? Like,
yeah,
and he's speaking for every single person on the planet.
mm,
These people that make these decisions about what our bodies can do up until what age, they're making decisions for every person. We're all individuals.
yeah,
Like there are 16-year-olds that, unfortunately have disabilities and things and they can't do things. And then there are 90-year-old women that are like at the gym lifting weights. Your body can do what it can do. It's an individual basis.
yeah,
So, and I also think that when you're younger, you do all the wrong stuff. But your body forgives you.
yeah,
Whereas when you're a bit older, maybe you think, oh, my body won't forgive me, so I want to treat it better. But the moment you start treating it better, it's as strong as anything.
yeah. I feel like I'm quite strong now and in a good like fitness,
I mean, I
state.
don't know if you saw on my page because it was the first time I've ever done one of these. I went to a local gym and they had this like bio scan kind of thing, and it scanned all my vitals and it gave me a bio age and it scanned all my bone density and everything. So it's the first time I've ever done it. It was at 36,
Okay.
and so like but I've only recently been like looking at lots of different things that I can do to my body to strengthen it internally more. But it's just interesting because like, normally 36 is still classed as like, oh, you can still do things, you're still classed as able-bodied. As a
Yeah.
woman, when you're in
Yeah.
your 40s, they start talking about premenopause and all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff, and you won't be able to do this and that. So, well, 36, I should still be able to do everything. You shouldn't be putting any barriers in my way. So, if we're talking on that, like my real age and my biological age are completely different.
Yeah.
Which shows that you can't look at things just in one way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everyone's capable.
I'd like to do that myself and see what my biological
That's
age
the thing.
is.
I mean, because it's not about how long you've been alive for. It's about what
How
your
you're
body,
looking after yourself, what your body's telling you. I mean, my mental age is about 18. But, but I would like to think that my biological age and as compared to what I actually am is a bit younger because I do look after myself.
Yeah, because it all adds up, and then there's loads of different things that can impact your body at different stages and that.
Yeah.
But I think women in general, I mean, like when we have a up and down month anyway.
Yeah.
Like from one end of the month to the next, I don't know how I'll feel.
Exactly, yeah. And that's not even just physically, that's in every way. I mean,
Yeah.
I called my mum on the way in. I always ring my mum when I'm on
Mhm.
my way into the studio and have a little chat to her while I'm driving. And she said, "Oh, how you feeling today?" And I said, "You know what? I feel really good this week. But a couple of weeks ago, I don't know, there was a bit of a cloud over me. I
Mhm.
felt like, but like you say, it's from one month to the next.
Yeah.
I could have been hormonal, tired,
Mhm.
overwhelmed. This week, I'm feeling completely different. You know, it
Mhm.
is just like that, isn't it? Up and down.
Yeah, I mean, just I know I keep diving back and forth in the subject, but like with the hormones and all the, I think that's not addressed in combat sports for women either.
No, and I talked to Jess about this
Yeah.
because I said, and I think a lot of women maybe control it through maybe the pill or medication
Mm.
or some sort of contraception to control periods and things.
Yeah.
Because I said to Jess, all right, okay, it's Monday, you've got a fight on Saturday and you come on your period.
Yeah.
And we talked quite a lot about that and how, especially if you're training a lot with men and sparring men and
Yeah.
being managed or trained by men in the gym, they just don't get it. Like a
No.
lot of them, it's just not talked about. It's a bit of a taboo subject, even though we're in 2025.
Mhm.
So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, the thing is I think again, and this is the problem. Like, I'm not a feminist, but then there's certain things that I think, like, there's a big feminist movement at the moment. Would you agree?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I think they focus on the wrong things, and like, but then there's other groups where it's like in combat sports. I feel women almost say we're not going to highlight the fact that we have women's issues.
Oh,
Like
why?
it's almost like because I remember there have been a few times there was a couple of different MMA fighters and they didn't make weight, and one of them mentioned the fact that she basically come on, she'd had a period,
Mm.
and that was a reason why she couldn't make weight, and everyone cussed her, women included, and I thought, what are you on about?
Yeah.
That is a true thing that happens.
Real life.
And look, because I had the bare knuckle fight I had before I fought Brit. I had a issue with my weight because I'd gone to another country. I went to America, so I had all the weight gain from the plane and everything.
Yeah.
And I came on,
Yeah.
and my weight went straight back up,
Yeah.
and I absolutely killed myself
Yeah.
to get down. And I managed to get within 3 pounds. So, but I won that fight, and then they tried to give me grief afterwards, and I was just like, and she was like, I always make weight even when I'm on my period. And I thought, well, you're not me. Like, we're all different.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like I had childbirth problems. You might not have childbirth problems.
Yeah.
You have a good period. I have a bad period. You know, like some women have like 3 day periods. They have no cramps, no thing. I've known girls like that, and I
I'm
thought,
me.
you're lucky.
So
No,
lucky.
I've known girls that have literally bled for 10 days straight. Like they're
Mm.
gonna they lose half their blood basically, and they're on iron tablets and they have bloating issues and all that. Everyone's different.
Yeah.
But in combat sports, the weight loss and gain sometimes for a fight, like I'm literally I come down to like crazy weight. Like I
Yeah.
come down to 115.
Yeah.
I don't sit anywhere near that. So I have to lose all my body fat. If I have any fluctuation in hormones, I am absolutely screwed.
Mm.
Like, and it's not in my control. It's not anything I'm not forcing my body to do. Like, but you can't control what your hormones are going to do. Sometimes they get overstressed
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
we're going to put more weight on you
Yeah.
because we're not liking what you're doing to us.
Mm.
And women don't get to speak about this in combat sports because then it's classed as like, well, you want to do this sport and you want to be looked at the same as guys and you want to, yeah, but if I have something that happens to me every month and you know it's not a lie because we all have it, like,
Yeah.
then why don't you act like it's a natural thing? Let's take it into account.
I think it should massively be brought to the fore, and
Yeah.
like, it's real life.
It's
And
crazy.
all comes back to the realness, like we were saying. First question I asked you, why bare knuckle boxing? You said because it's the realest
Mhm.
sport. When you said about, the way you've got no one to impress, you've got a husband, you just want to do the
Yeah.
it's real. Talking about periods, it's real. It's literally
Yeah.
oh my God, it's just the top of all
Do you know,
everything I'm about.
can I say, and this is really just random, but do you know one of my biggest fears that I ever have when I go into a fight? Because I've had a couple of times where I've been actually on my period, I thought I would hate to leak.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about you knocking my tooth out. I'm not worried about you breaking my nose.
Yeah.
I'm just worried you might see a bit of period blood go down my leg, because
Yeah.
that would be embarrassing. I'd never survive that.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, please don't leak. Please don't leak in the fight, because they'll take a picture and they'll show it off, and they'll say,
And it'll be a meme.
but I'm not
Yeah.
interested if you take a picture of my face with
No
missing
teeth,
teeth and
yeah.
that. Talk about that, because that's what I'm doing. But that's where that's how weird it is. Is like, as a woman, like those kind of things that are natural, you have to feel like, oh, I kind of have to hide it.
Like a taboo
Like
subject.
I kind of have to hide that I even have issues with it.
Yeah.
Why would I mention that I've suddenly got a bit of weight gain because I came on my period? It's like they're gonna think I'm not a good fighter now, or I'm not up to the sport because I've got hormonal changes. So you have to feel like, oh, I have to hide those facts about me, and just
Yeah.
kind of just kill myself trying to so I'm always like thinking, oh, when is my period due? Okay, I think I'm fighting on that day. Hopefully it will come a week before and I'll have time for that to happen, and I'm thinking this. But then when I cut weight, my period changes anyway, because it changes all my
Yes,
hormones.
and this is what Jess was saying as well, because she was saying some fighters, they're training so hard and they're being so strict with their food and like killing themselves pretty much, that it changes your periods anyway. And some people might not have periods for months because of how hard they're training.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I haven't had a period in years because it was that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, that bad. Like we were just saying, you know, these girls that go, oh, I'm on for 2 days. And you're literally like, what? I was the opposite. I was like 7 days in agony, being sick with the pain. Like, yeah. And it got to a point where I'm medicated so it doesn't happen anymore, which is great because it was ruining my life. But that's real. That was real to, like, for me. And like Jess was saying as well on her episode, you know, she's at an age where she's not had children yet.
Yeah.
So if that's messed up to the point where you're not having periods anymore because you're training so hard, you want to get the regularity back to start having a family then. So it is real and it needs to be talked about a lot more.
I mean, I had considered sometimes, like, you know, like taking the pill or something to just control like when I'm coming on and stuff. But because it's messing with my hormones in a different way,
Yeah.
and I have to really watch what I'm doing to my body because I need it to perform.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess with anything, because I might do something that takes away from something that I need for my fight, or it takes us like, just like it alters the way my body responds to training. So everything I alter on my body might impact the end result that I'm wanting. So I can't go down those routes, and I just wouldn't trust it, because like it could impact in different ways. So I'm always like, no, I've got to just do it just a normal way, but then I have to kind of suffer in silence because I can't really let on, because no one takes it, no one wants to hear about it.
No, I know. And that's exactly what we were saying with Jess. So I want to talk about you and your homeschooling with your children. So I know that you homeschool the 3 of them.
Yeah.
And that your older boys were in the school system up to sort of 8 or 9 age, and then you pulled them out.
I did.
So how do you cope with that? Do you do the schooling, or does your husband, or do you both do it?
Well, no, I do the schooling, but there's the way I look at education anyway is that I don't think it's all about sitting at a desk writing loads of stuff out on paper. So
I agree.
It's all the other stuff that comes with. So my husband is a part of that, but it's just not. But anything like more on the formal side is what I would do. But that's because he's doing work and things like that. But I had a different thought about homeschooling when I first started it to how I feel about it now. And I do think that it's as far removed from formal school as possible. That's the way I approach it.
Yeah.
Because I don't really recognize anything that we get from school as beneficial.
Yeah. So do you have like a structured day routine, or is it no? So it's different. I know I've got some friends that homeschool and they've got 5 children.
I started that way.
Did you?
When I first started doing it, it was almost like a school day. It was like, start in the morning and you're going to do your English, you're going to do maths, science, this, that, have some fresh air outside and do this. And it just wasn't working.
Yeah.
I was having the same problems that they were having in school, but obviously just easier because they were home. But the same barriers that were coming up, that they were struggling with, and also going through what a lot of what the school would have taught. You do just look at it and you go, why are you learning that? Like why, like, there's no
Yeah.
interest. You have no interest in that at all. I have no interest in that because, and I did this in school myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't even remember it, but I remember, you remember doing it, but you think, until thinking about it from like 20 years, 20 years ago,
Yeah.
40 years,
Yeah.
like, I didn't, like, I haven't had to think about it since.
Since, yeah,
And
I
you think
know.
like, okay, so that was worthwhile spending all that time learning about that. And I'm thinking like, so why am I spending all the time teaching them pointless things that they really are gonna forget in about a year after school, and
Yeah.
then never ever mention it again in their life? Um, so it's not structured. It's kind of like, it's almost like I can tell what they need to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, especially because if I didn't get my boys out of
Yeah.
bed, they would literally stay in bed till
Mhm.
lunchtime. So, do you get them up, or how would you go about teaching them? I've got another question in my head that I want to ask, but I'll answer
Yeah.
that one first.
Well, that again, there's not. I will get them up, but then sometimes I won't.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I know what's happened the day before, or I know whether I think, what they could do with a bit of extra sleep.
Yeah.
That was, like, whether there was a bit more activity on the day before, or whether they were doing more things, or maybe they had a bit more emotional stuff go on, or like different things. Like, it's not a set routine. So they might be up one day at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then the next day they might not be up till like 10.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of, it's not structured in that way. It's kind of like, I know what they need,
Yeah, and
kind of
of
thing.
course you do,
Yeah.
because you're their mum, and I
Yeah.
feel that I would know. We went on a rugby tour the weekend for my eldest lad,
Yeah.
for his rugby team. So we didn't get back till sort of like 5 p.m. on Sunday.
Yeah.
It was in Devon, so there was a long drive.
Mhm.
He played on Sunday as well. They were up late with their friends,
Yeah.
of course, as well. So come Monday, when we have to get up for school, they are knackered.
Yeah.
So when you've explained it like that, that makes so much
Mhm.
sense that if I was homeschooling, because I'm working and I'm on my own,
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. But actually, when I look at it, I think I know what they need more than anybody,
Mhm.
because Monday they were knackered, so of course they needed more
Yeah.
sleep. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But the question I was going to ask them was, do you have to, as when you register them for homeschooling, do you have to stick to a curriculum?
So there's different. It's not a set curriculum. You only have to do English, maths, and science,
Yeah,
and you have to just make sure that they are getting like an equivalent
yeah.
of what they'd be getting in school. So to whatever level that they should be getting to.
Right, like key stage 2, 3.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
my eldest son, he did his GCSEs last year, and he passed all his GCSEs. He
yeah,
did English, maths, and science. Did 3 sciences, so biology, chemistry, physics, and he passed all them.
yeah,
So and so he's done that.
yeah,
So he achieved exactly what he'd get in school,
yeah,
but he's been with me.
yeah,
So he's been like, doing other stuff, and he's got other things going on, like that he's been nurturing from home.
yeah,
And he's been in an environment where he can, his confidence and everything can be what it should be, and he's not had to deal with the kind of stuff that's going on nowadays in the schools and with the young kids.
yeah. That's fantastic, really, because I mean, English I was fine with, maths
Mm.
and science I was awful, and I
Yeah.
still am. And I look at some of the homework now, and I think I couldn't answer that.
But again, like, it's like when he was revising for it, and we were sitting down, and I was thinking, I vaguely remember how to do that. I said, but I don't think I've done it since
Since school,
GCSE. So
yeah,
I'm glad I vaguely remember how to do it, but like, it has done nothing for me. Like, I've not gone near that again. And I actually believe that even then there was not really much need for it in any job, but you definitely don't now.
you know?
with the way the computers and the and technology is, nothing that they're learning in school from a English, maths, and science kind of point of view is things that
They're going to rely
they're
on.
going to rely
Yeah,
on,
yeah,
even
yeah.
if they went into a maths or science type of
Yeah.
job. It's more that the stuff that actually, the only stuff that I think is good in school, I think, well, would be good if they spent more time on it, is like art, music,
Yeah.
things that are creative, drama studies,
Yeah.
the things that, no, you can't get a computer to do that for you.
Yeah, you
You know,
can't.
like not in the same way as like having that creative kind of human side of things. I mean, I know you can AI a lot of art nowadays, but like having that human creative side is the only thing worth nurturing.
Yeah.
Like in an education
Yeah, I
setting.
agree. And actually, my lad's really good at art. My
Mhm.
my oldest lad's really good at art. But obviously, when you come to picking your options, he's picked PE, he's picked art.
Yeah.
You know, he's picked the good stuff.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. I'm terrible at art, but PE, you know, creative and
Yeah.
being active is what I want to do.
Mhm.
And that's definitely what he's doing at the minute. But my youngest wants to be a boxer. Since that kid's
Yeah.
been old enough to walk, talk, and
Yeah.
wrap his own hands, he said to me, all I'm going to do is box. So it's come to the point, I mean, he's only in year 7, but I'm already thinking for work experience, you just might as well go and train like a boxer. Because if that's what you're going to do with your life.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could talk all day about the education system and how antiquated it is.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, it's weird. I was only thinking about this the last few days. It's like, boxing used to be in school.
Yeah.
It used to be in school, and it was like, and then it got taken out for for whatever reason, for school safety. I don't know, and just like everyone's just, children have just gone like
Yeah.
downhill as far as I'm concerned in terms of the discipline and the focus. And you know, it used to be like an outlet for, like, you know, children that maybe weren't so academic,
Yeah.
giving them a bit more purpose and a bit more of like a focus for them. But the school system's just gone
Yeah,
terrible.
shit.
I mean, I worked in it for a while. I did some, when the kids were in school, I did some like just like teacher's assistant kind of, they're helping like children with autism
Yeah.
and things like that, because obviously my 2 boys have autism as well. And I just hated every minute of what I was seeing. Like no matter how much you try and help the children, what, it's so broken around them that it's just like, you're like, it's a drop in the ocean.
Yeah.
You
So
can't
much
do
red
anything.
tape and like you say, nurturing what they need
Yeah.
is the best for them.
Mhm.
I agree with that. I want to talk to you about what we've been talking about before we press record, because I think it's actually one really interesting. But
What did we talk? I forgot what we talked about.
so about with you and your career now,
Yeah.
you're becoming bruised regularly,
Yeah.
and you said about you came back from America
Mhm.
and walked through a scan machine.
Yeah.
You've got teeth missing.
Yeah.
Your face is out here,
Mhm.
and you've walked straight through.
Yeah.
Your husband,
Mhm.
who's Asian,
Yeah.
he got pulled to the side and asked to go. So,
That happened the 2 times. Both times came back bruised. Obviously, the second time I was worse, but both times the scanner just scanned my face, sent me on my way. Now, I look nothing like my picture anymore. My husband looked exactly the same.
on his picture.
And yeah, and both times he got questioned by immigration coming back into the UK.
Yeah. So along with that,
Mhm.
with the bruising,
Yeah.
comes some sort of questioning for you, because people are asking you, even though, like you said, your hands are wrapped,
Yeah.
you've still got fight gear on, you go to the hospital because you've just had a fight and you're bruised and swollen, and in the hospital they're asking you, your husband went to the hospital with you, yeah?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this was on my first fight, which was Newcastle. So after the fight, I went to just the hospital just to get checked over.
Yeah.
My husband came with me, and then they pulled me and him aside, like separately, and I got questioned to see if there was any domestic violence going on.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I've just been in a televised bare-knuckle fight. Here's proof, it's on my Instagram.
Yeah.
There's a fight poster. There's some of the fight footage. hand wraps are still on, still wearing my fight clothes, and they still felt the need to question me
Yeah.
about it and pull him to the side.
Yeah.
And it is a strange situation to be in.
'Cause it's not just happened the once, has it? This has
No,
happened
no,
in
no, because I
lots
had it
of...
happen. I've had it happen a few times. Not actually in America or anywhere. I've had it happen here a few times where I've had like bruises from sparring or bruises from training, um, or I've come back from America and I've had, thing is, I've normally had some contact with the doctors because I get medicals
Yeah.
beforehand, and I get a blood test and all these different things. So it's all on my records, and everything's aware that this is what I do as a job, and everything's kind of there on social media. She's just had a big fight, or she's just done this, and then I get questioned like as if, is there problems in the home?
Mm.
Like, is your husband doing this to you? And it is kind of a weird. It's again that it's that women,
Yeah.
male, female kind of thing. If I was a man and
Yeah.
I said I'm a pro fighter and I've just had a fight, they'd be like, "Of course you are, of
Yeah.
course." But as a woman, it's kind of, I'm even dressed in my gear, and you're still going like, "You sure he didn't batter you?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah.
it is kind of it's always that. It's kind of, there's a weird way that they look at.
Yeah, and it's not just you, is it now? Like, I know
Mm,
that the questions have been raised about why you homeschool your children.
yeah,
Is there a domestic issue going on that you don't want them to
yeah,
go to school? And like we've said,
hmm,
listen, it's a good thing that these questions are being asked,
yeah,
because some people are slipping through the net,
hmm,
and, domestic violence is maybe going amiss or not being picked
yeah,
up. Same with child abuse. It's going,
hmm,
unrecognised. So it's good that they're asking the questions. But because you're a fighter and you've
yeah.
got bruises, even though it's so
I, I,
public.
I think it's that whole thing. I'm a bare knuckle fighter,
Mm,
and I'm a woman, and that's still kind of just strange to a lot of people, especially here still.
yeah,
Maybe not so much in America. It's a bit, and a little bit in Europe, but here especially, there's still that kind of, that's what she does.
yeah,
And then it's like, and then on top of that, you homeschool and you do that as well. Like the two can't like join, because how could you be like uh, a mom and a bare knuckle fighter?
yeah,
It's like you have to be one or the other.
yeah, yeah,
Like, you can have some like tough looking women, and but you can't have a tough looking woman or who does bare knuckle boxing, and then she's all about her kids and her family and wants to homeschool, and she's got all these kind of
yeah, yeah,
ways of thinking of things. It's like the two don't compute
yeah,
for some people. They think you can only be one type of person.
yeah.
Um,
Which, like we said, it's good that it's getting picked up in some ways, but then, like, it's blatantly obvious what you're doing.
I know. I
It's
mean,
public.
it makes me mad though, because like, especially in Birmingham, there's been some horrific cases recently of like, things that have happened to children that have just completely been missed. Like, and I'm just thinking, why are these people not being questioned?
Yeah,
Why did no one pick that up? And then you ask the same questions to me repeatedly, and like, I can't keep telling you what I do for a living. It's just like, why are you even talking to me about this?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But then there's another child that's been killed. It's just like, it is crazy. I do think, like, what are you spending your time doing? You're not looking at the people that need looking at.
yeah. No, I agree. So there's a feature then in every episode called
Mm,
Spin Justice of the Week.
okay.
So that is an injustice where it can be minor, it can be major,
Mm,
but it's something that you feel is an injustice. And I mean, quite a lot of what we've talked about already
yeah.
is an injustice. But have you got an injustice of the week that you want to share?
Well, does it matter? Does it have to have been from this week?
No, it can be. We say it's this
Okay.
week. It's only because it's this week's episode.
I mean, to be honest, I've probably got a list.
Everyone says that.
I've
When
got-
Ginge from Chardin said, "I'll be here all day."
yeah. I mean, obviously, the biggest one for me recent was my fight with Carla,
Yeah.
because like, I won that fight.
Yeah,
Everyone said I won the fight. The commentator said I won. The crowd said I won. All the social media said I won. The Sun, all the papers said I won.
yeah,
And I had to take a split draw.
yeah,
And then, and I didn't get my bout or my win, and I had to kind of take that and that was just because I didn't have the look of what they were looking for.
yeah, yeah.
I
That's
didn't
the
fit
politics,
that
isn't it?
kind of look that they
The
go
demographic.
for.
Yeah, that they
So it's
wanted.
kind of like, that's an injustice, because like you go into it as a fighter and you do your job, and then you get like an injustice like that. It's
Yeah.
kind of like crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
It's fair, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's valid. But mine is so random, right?
Mhm.
But right, I just want to ask you. I'm going to ask you for your
Okay.
quick reaction. Sun's out here in Birmingham. We're all
Okay.
getting excited. Do you hang your washing on the line?
Yeah.
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 So, do you, Carl?
No, we've just bought a new dryer. So
Oh God, this is your my injustice, Carl. So like, we've got a girls group WhatsApp,
Yeah.
me and my mates, and yesterday we're having a little chat on there. We ain't seen each other for a while, so we're all saying, and the sun's out. We're all getting excited that the sun's out, yeah. So I've just put on there, get your washing out, girls,
Yeah.
because first thing I see, I open the window in the morning, sun's out, that washing's going on the line.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm even loading it in the machine the night before, yeah. He's laughing. I'm loading it in the machine the night before. So when I get up in the morning, come downstairs to make my cup of tea, bang the machine on, because I know that when I get back from taking the boys to the bus stop, I can put my washing on the line. My mates have replied going like, nah, don't do it. Just put it in the dryer. And I went, nah, he's criminal to me.
Okay. I understand it. I wouldn't know to use criminal.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've got like the injustice. You've got an opportunity to hang your washing out on the line. Nothing makes me happier than seeing that washing blowing.
I know. Don't get me wrong. Like I do prefer like washing that's been able to dry outside. I do like that.
Yeah.
I think the only reason I don't sometimes jump on it is because I know that like the sun's out now. Later it could have gone ice cold and be raining.
Yeah.
And then nothing is a bigger injustice to me that when I've trusted the weather, I've put my clothes out, I've gone out, come back, and it's been raining non-stop, and then I've got to rinse them through again because they'll smell of that rain smell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's an injustice.
That is an injustice.
And I hate that.
I don't know about you, but I'm of the age now where I do check the weather quite a lot. I need to get a life, I know. But I do, I check the weather app and I'm like, it's going to be nice the next 3 days.
Yeah.
So I get my basket empty. So yeah, that was mine for this week because I thought, girls, man, what are you doing? I'll have a word with Lois.
Just to get in dry.
So have you got any shout outs? Anyone you want to shout out, whether it be people, small businesses, anything you like?
Okay, so I'm going to shout out, obviously, my family, my children, my husband, obviously, because he puts up with a lot. And obviously, he supports me in everything.
Yeah.
He trains me in everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to shout out my the boxing gym I go to.
Yeah, where is that?
It's Immortals Boxing Gym. I'm not going to give you the address because I can't remember the address because I get driven there by my husband and I don't pay attention.
Do you know what area it's in? Is it Birmingham?
It is Birmingham.
Yeah,
it is Birmingham, yeah. So it's Immortals Gym, and then I train with Neil Hayley and Nyla Hayley and Shay Hayley.
Okay.
And so they all train and spar me and
Have they got an Instagram? Because I've not seen that.
It's on my Instagram.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah. I'll have a look at that.
And then shout out to my management, sort of house management, Ryan Perez. So he handles most of my bare-knuckle management, gets me the fights over there and stuff like that. And the shout out to everyone else that supports me through everything I'm doing. There's lots of people. I mean, there's lots of people that have been supporting me throughout, this fight game.
Yeah.
I can't name everyone, but I do appreciate everyone that's been supporting me. So.
Yeah, brilliant. Mine is, do you remember Dave from episode 1?
Yeah.
First ever episode did with my friend Dave. The episode itself was on addiction and how he's sort of like 8 years clean from drugs, and he's doing bodybuilding at the minute. But so I'm going to go and watch him in his first show later on in the year. But he's a strength and conditioning coach, and he's he's got so many degrees and stuff now, and like qualifications, should I say. He's flying through his uni, get all these qualifications. But he's got a new Instagram page, Strength and Conditioning, I think it's called. If you look on the Instagram, it'll be on there. So his old one was called Dave Strength and Conditioning, but I think the new one's just called Strength and Conditioning. But I'll tag him.
Okay.
So mine's for him because he's either, I mean, my lad's got a fight coming up in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Obviously, he's 12, it's amateur, you know, it's more of a skills bout at this age.
Yeah.
But he says to him in the gym the other day, because Jack comes with me on a Tuesday to spin because he has to be in the gym at 7 and I teach spin till 6:45.
Yeah.
So he has to come with me and sit outside the room, he pisses about. And then I'll take him to the boxing gym, which is like round the corner.
Okay.
So it just
works.
it just works. So Dave was in the gym and he says to Jack, I'll do some strength and conditioning work with you if you want for your fight in the run-up. So he's going to be doing some work with Jack over the next few weeks, you know, just something different.
Yeah.
So my shout out is for him today, because we're going to be working a bit more with him with Jack and stuff. And he's also, because he's coming up to the end of his degree, working a bit more with footballers. I know he's looked into people doing ballet and things like that, because there's a lot of work, you know, that strength and conditioning can improve. So mine is for him. So, God, I've really enjoyed that chat. I really have. And I think it's going to open people's eyes quite a lot.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I would hope. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks
Really
for
enjoyed it.
having me.
Thank you. Thanks, Carl. If you have a topic that you want to discuss, get in touch at b31spinjustice@gmail.com or via Instagram @spinjustice.